Hello everyone, my name is Rian and currently I'm a master's student at University Technology Petronas, UTP. Now today out of my research time, I have decided to make a dedicated guide for all the people who are new to this concept of GA, GRA and what UTP offers. I have decided to make a dedicated guide for that. However, I want to give a heads up that it's not going to be anything professional, it's just me talking to the camera. And I'm going to share my own experience more than what is actually offered out there. So you will have like a first-hand experience of someone who's been here for almost 2 years now. Without further ado, I think we can begin. So right now in front of you, this guide is open, Road to UTP, the International GA journey, and it has been divided into different phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then also miscellaneous. I will be explaining you everything one by one. So this roadmap is designed for international applicants. So let's say if you are someone international, like from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria, like from all these countries, because mostly we have the audience from these countries when they study in UTP, who want to pursue their future studies at UTP, to talk about graduate assistantship GA and graduate research assistantship GRA. So this whole playlist is designed in a way to educate you the step-by-step process of how to apply and then settling in. So let me just show you the roadmap here. As you can see, we have multiple phases, so we'll be going them one by one. Phase 1, explore and apply. We'll explore GA and GRA schemes, so that is going to be episode 1, today's episode. Prepare a credible application. How the application process works, like when you submit your documents, how does that work? We'll be looking into the next episode. And then complete the approval process required before travel. So your EMGS, your visa, insurance, like all those things you need to cover before you come here. So once your phase 1 is completed, then you're good to go. You can move on to phase 2. Phase 2 and phase 3, once your phase 1 is done. I mean, you can binge watch the whole playlist. I don't mind anyway. So I wish something like this existed when I wanted to come to UTP, because this is what I explored, that no such guide exists. So I decided to make one of my own. Once your 1, 2, 3 is clear, explore and apply. Phase 1, let's say you get the offer letter from the university, then you apply for the visa, you get it. That means you're travel ready. That means now you can come to Malaysia. And in phase 2, you can start working on phase 2 the moment when you buy your tickets. If you look at the episode 3, offer EMGS and visa. So once you get to that phase, once that is cleared, there are no breaks, mind you. You have to start working on phase 2 immediately. So today our phase 1 is about explore and apply, and the very first episode is about GA and GRA. Again, I want you to do me a favor that this whole series, this whole guide, the video I'm making right now, it's not going to cover things in depth. If you have some more questions, you're more welcome. You can just leave a comment down there and I will try to address them in the upcoming series. So if you have any questions after watching this video, just type them down there, I will answer. But one thing more you can do is, because I'm covering things on surface level and maybe it will not be too in-depth. UTP still offer a lot of documentation out there, but the problem is that how to access it. Most people, they just don't know how to access it. It's actually publicly available. I want you to do me a favor by coming to the browser. Okay, I have to start from all over again. And in your search, just type UTP PG Handbook 2025. It's a year older, but we are still using it. And here you have all these things are publicly available, so you don't need to be a student to access all this. You can be anyone. Let me just scroll on to the second one. So I think this is the official website, utpedu.my, and they have like all these student handbooks. If I just scroll down, I'm more interested in postgraduate because that is why you click on this video. So postgraduate handbook. So again, this covers things in much more detail. All of this information is available on internet anyway. All you have to do is you have to access it, you have to go through it by yourself. In that way, you will have more knowledge. So here you can see GA scheme, GRA schemes. So most of the content has been actually taken from this book. It's not actually too long, it's just only 50 pages. It is going to explain you each and everything. But moving on to today's topic about GA, GRA explained from my own perspective. Like, I'm going to share my own raw experience, and I'm just going to tell you which one was better for me and what is it all about. Simple terms, GA and GRA are both financial schemes, financial assistance schemes. So you can mistake them for scholarship, because back home we call all these things scholarship, where you study and then you get paid. So it's like a scholarship. But I want you to know one thing, that do not mistake them for a fully funded scholarship. These GA, GRA both are not a fully funded scholarship. That means it will not cover your accommodation, it will not cover your resource fee. Okay, mind you, resource fee and tuition fee are not the same thing. I'll be talking about them later. But I just want to, first of all, let you know that GA and GRA are not a fully funded scholarship. Then I also want you to do one more thing. I want you to know one more thing. Who is it for? Let's say if you're a literature student or a medical student who study medicine, or who study literature, arts, UTP might not be for you. Most probably people who are coming here are from engineering background. They are from computer science, they are from applied science, they are from mechanical, civil engineering, and then you also have the petroleum, of course, because Petronas is like an oil and gas company. All of these people are coming from engineering background. If you are from business, you can come, because they have fintech actually. So if you want to explore your masters in fintech, then I think it can also be an option. So these are some of the options you have. I'm from IT myself, so I can talk more on that subject. So the main difference between them is actually where the money comes from, because in the end of the day, when you're coming here, you want to study, of course, but you also want some money, you want to have allowance anyway. So let me just talk about them in detail. So with GA, the funding comes directly from UTP. That means the university is responsible for your allowance. They will give you the money, and it will be coming from UTP, from the university. How is GRA different? We'll be looking at GRA later, but let me just talk more on GA first. So the university is responsible for your monthly allowance and financial assistance covering under the scheme. So this means once you are registered, you will get your allowance till the end. So that means, like, let's say today is January 1st, 2027. Let's say I'm just taking this date. And your master's will end in 2 years. So that means your master's is supposed to end in December 2028. So that's almost 2 years. You will get your money till the very end of December. And it's coming from UTP right away. So this is fixed, no change whatsoever. You will get money regardless. However, from what I've observed recently, UTP seems to be moving more towards GRA. I also want to highlight one thing, that now they're more moving towards GRA. So I'm a master's student myself. GRA scheme, they're more available, but if you talk about the GA, it's actually getting diminished. So they want less and less GA people now. They want more GRA. The eligibility criteria is also a bit loose compared to GRA now. So for GA, you need the you need the CG GPA of 3.0, whereas for GRA it's 3.5. It's slightly higher, because GRA it has become a more norm now. So they have also raising the GPA for that as well. So it should be 3.5 and above for GRA, but for GA you can even apply for 3. But you have to look for the position, either it is available or not. One more thing, the master student get 2,000 ringgits. I don't know the conversion here, but you can do it. You can do the math by yourself. For the master student, you'll get 2,000 ringgits per month, whereas the PhD student gets slightly higher of 3,000 ringgits per month. And it is fixed amount. Like, you are not going to get any less money than that, and also you're not going to get any more money than that. However, later on, I will be sharing my own personal experience. So first, let me just talk about the GRA now. On the other hand, the GRA is your funding is connected to your supervisor research project, and the amount of funding available under the grant. In GRA, your supervisor has a grant. So back there for GA, the university has grant. Now in GRA scheme, your supervisor, he has the money, so he'll be paying you from that grant. And unlike GA and GRA, allowance is not necessarily one fixed amount for everyone. Again, there is a baseline for GA and GRA, just like a master student for GA get 2,000 ringgits. GRA also get 2,000 ringgits as well. So the baseline is same, but there are some changes. If I share my own experience now, to just better put GA and GRA, and just tell you which one was better for me. So when I first came here, the GRA amount was 1,800. So was the GRA, 1,800 for both. Now they have increased to 2,000, but when I joined, it was 1,800, 1,800. So what they did was they have increased the GA amount by 200. So the master student who was GA will receive 200 ringgit more, 2,000, whereas I was still getting 1,800. And a PhD student, where the GA was around 2,300, 2,300, not 3,000, but they have raised it to 3,000. So you see, the GA students were at an advantage. They had their increment, they had their money increment regardless, because it was handled by university anyway, so they have increased it. Now the GRA, there was a lot of backlash from GRAs as well, like why are we not getting the amount if they are getting from 2,300 for a PhD student, if they are getting from 2,300 to 3,000, why not a GRA PhD student is getting raised to 3,000? So later on, it was discussed that, let's say if your supervisor has, of course your supervisor has a grant, but if the grant has enough money, it has a lot of money, and your understanding with your supervisor is good, you can increase the amount. And it is not confined to the increment by the university. Like, let's say if the university increased the amount of GA, so then only then it can be increased for you as well. If you have good understanding with your supervisor, a master's student who is supposed to receive 2,000 now can even increment or can even raise their money till 2,300, and a PhD student can go all the way to 4,000 ringgits. This is for GRA, this is not for GA, because GA is fixed, but in GRA the baseline is fixed. Right now it's 2,000, but you can talk to your supervisor, and if you guys have a good understanding and you're a master's student, then you can go all the way to 2,300, basically a starting of a PhD student before when I first came here. And then, like, if you're a PhD student, it can go all the way to 4,000. So you see here, if you are a GRA and you have a good understanding with your supervisor, maybe you can get more money from your supervisor. But it doesn't end there. The difference does not end there. There's also one more thing. So the concept of resource fee. I don't know if I mentioned before about tuition fee, resource fee, all those things you need to take into an account. So basically, when you're studying on these schemes, GA and GRA, you don't pay any tuition fee, because I think this will be covered later on in the other episodes, where what you need to do to mitigate your tuition fee, where you don't have to pay for your tuition fee. So there is no tuition fee, but instead you have resource fee. So right now you see me sitting in this lab, sitting in the aircon, having these lights on, using the internet. So all this is coming from somewhere. In the end of the semester, we have to pay resource fee for all that, and it's a fixed amount. So it used to be 800 ringgits, 800 RM per semester, not per month, per semester. But then with the increment of 6% SST on internationals, so that means like the internationals, they pay 600, they pay 6% extra. So now it's 848, like almost 850 ringgits, an increment of 48 ringgits. So there's one more thing there as well, that you have to pay the resource fee. And in UTP, there is a concept of tri-semester a year. So in 1 year, you have 3 semesters. Each semester lasts for 4 months, 4 month 1, 4 month 2, and then 4 month 3. First semester from January to May, then from May to I think August, and then from September to December. So you have 3 semesters. So in the end of each semester, you have to pay the resource fee of 848. So now it's on you. In 4 months, how much can you save? That means if you're a GA student, if you GRA as well, there's no hard line there. But if you're a GA student, you have to pay this resource fee by your pocket. So that means in the end of 4 months, in the end of the semester, you will have to pay a resource fee of 848 by your own pocket. Whereas a GRA has an advantage. Me as a GRA student, I have that advantage that I can ask my supervisor to pay for it. So again, it's about your understanding with your supervisor. If you guys have an understanding, and let's say your supervisor is kind enough and there's money in the grant, your supervisor has a large grant, so he or she can pay for your resource fee as well. So in my case, in the end of the semester, I pay for the resource fee, but then I ask my supervisor to claim my money back. So in that way, I don't pay for the fee. So you got the idea? GA students, they pay for the resource fee. They have to. But the GRA, they can always ask their supervisor, and if they're kind enough, they can pay. Now, one more thing, I don't want you to hold me by throat. Let's say if you are watching this guide and somehow you ended up coming here thanking me that everything worked out after I show you all the process. But again, when you come here tomorrow and there is no understanding between your supervisor, if you're a GRA, mind you, and then there's no understanding between you and your supervisor, where your supervisor does not have a grant to pay for your resource fee, or he or she doesn't want to increment your stipend, then it's not in my hand, or it's not even in your supervisor's hand. It's about actually how much money does the grant have. So it's one more thing to take account of. So as a GRA, long story short, If your supervisor is good with you and there is a lot of money in the grant, then it's a benefit for you. And one more thing I want to tell about GA, this thing when I mentioned in the start about fixed amount. If you can see here, 3,000 per month respectively, fixed amount. So that means you will be getting money regardless. Let's say if I give you the example again, I started my GRA, not GA now, but GRA journey from January 1st, 2027. So of course, as a master student, I will end in the same time, December 2028. But the thing is, if the grant finishes half year or like in 1 year, so the current grant I'm working on, it started from 2024 and it will end in 2027. So I started studying here as a GRA, as a master's student from 2025. I started my journey on January 2nd, 2025. So I'm about to graduate this year. This year in December, I will graduate. So that means I'm secure. But the grant is finishing by 2027. So that means if I start my PhD from January 1st, 2027, or even a master, let's say if there's a new master student coming under the same grant coming in January 2027, the grant will finish by 2027. So what will happen in 2028? So sometimes there is this problem. As a GRE student, if the grant finishes before your study, then you might be in trouble because they might be looking for another grant to give you the money. So it's actually coming from grant to grant. It's not coming from university. I'm just giving you a heads up that if the grant is exhausted or it's finishing before you study, then it might be a trouble for you. So it's also on you now. Honestly, if I continue my GRA in the same grant, I'll be a little skeptical because my grant is finishing in 2027. If I continue my PhD, that will take me 3.5 years. Where am I going to find another grant, or where the supervisor is going to find another grant? There is always an option, but in the end of the day, you want to be secure. So you also have to map that thing out. So moving on, let me just talk about the graduation requirement. So one thing, I think this is full time. And yeah, maybe I'm not talking about the coursework as well. So yeah, the only thing I'm talking about this one. So PhD, the full time is 36 months, but for graduate on time, 24 months, basically almost 4 years. For masters, 2 years. So this is the time you will have in hand to finish your studies. It can be extended, but this is the time you will have. Then the graduation requirements. Now this is important. How can you graduate? As a master's student and as a PhD student, how will you get a degree from UTP? So first thing first, in both cases, regardless if you're a master or a PhD, okay, again, I'm not talking about coursework. I'm just talking about my research, PhD, and master. First thing first, your RPD should be clear. And I will talk about RPD in upcoming future, but that's the first milestone. Your RPD should be clear. Then the second one is, okay, let me just talk about master first, then I will move on to PhD. You need one publication. Any publication in ISI, Web of Science, Web of Science, or Scopus, something like Scopus. So yeah, it's written over there as well. So yeah, you need one paper there. It could be any Q. It should be in the index of Web of Science or Scopus. Not both of them, but it could only be Scopus as well. Let's say only Scopus, Q4. If you have a Q4 quality research paper in Scopus index, the journal is in Scopus, you're good to go. You can go to your thesis submission. And then of course you have to give your viva, and once you pass your viva, then you submit the hardbound thesis and approved by the Senate, so then you can graduate. Whereas for PhD, the rules are a bit different. They do want to have some quality work. So again, you need publication. In both GA, GRA, Master, PhD, you need publication regardless. So the thing is, for PhD, you either have one Q1 or Q2 paper, only one, or you need any Scopus index, like maybe Q3, Q4. It should be either in Scopus or Web of Science. I need more space. Q3 or Q4. It should be, the journal should be indexed in Scopus, or Web of Science 2 1. So now it's on you. You want to publish one paper in Q1 or Q2 to fulfill your requirement, go for the Viva, or you will have two papers from Q3 or Q4. The only difference between PhD and masters is that you also have RCS. Did I miss it? Okay, yeah. So you see RCS. You also have to go through your RCS as well for the PhD. Now let me just talk about the master's gateway for the money, for the allowance. Like, it's not that you are getting your allowance, but it's also about your performance, like how much you're contributing to your research work. I mean, it's just not like free money anyway. You have to do something, you have to produce something, you have to show some result. The very first thing is, for a master student, you have to cover your RPD by 3 months. So that means once you start I started on January. That means by February, March. By the end of March, I should give my RPD. Okay? But again, it was delayed for me, so I ended up giving in April. Let me talk about what happens if you don't finish on time. After 3 months, if you don't secure, so by January and March, if you don't, let's say if you start in January, and by March you have to give your RPD. And mind you, I'm talking about 1st January till 31st March. So in this time period, you have to give your research proposal defense. More on that later in the upcoming series, but you have to finish on in these 3 months. Let's say if your RPD is extended, it is April month now. That means if you're in your April month, that is actually the beginning of your 4th month. That means on the 22nd, usually we get the amount on every 22nd or 23rd of the month. It's not like from every 1st, we get it from the 21st. Sorry, we get it on 22 or 23rd. So you will not get the money or allowance of that month. It will be on hold. So your 4th month allowance will be stopped. Why? Because you haven't cleared your RPD. You were supposed to clear in 3 months. If it is cleared, then everything will be as normal, but then it will hold. Let's say it extend April, May, you finish in May or maybe by June. The more you're extending, the more they're holding your salary back. It's not like you will not get your money back. You will get your money back, and you will get your money twice and thrice depending on how much was it on hold. But usually for 3 months, they will keep it on hold, and you can finish your RPD in first 6 months. So you got the idea? First 3 months you will get your allowance as normal, but let's say if your RPD is extended, you will not get the amount till the date you finish your RPD, and it should be first 6 months. So after 6 months, if you don't clear your RPD, they don't find you good enough to continue your studies. So maybe they will either deport you back, or I don't know. I haven't seen anyone happening to anyone, but usually you have to cover by 6 months. Then the next gateway is till 12 months. Right? On month 12, what will happen? So let's say you finish your RPD, even if you finish it on 4th month, 5th month, and even on the 6th month, you get your amount back. From month 12, you need at least one accepted paper. So right after finishing your RPD, the battle is still not over yet. You need one accepted paper, and again, for the master, it's Scopus, only can, and also Web of Science. It should be any from Q1 to Q4. It should be accepted paper, not a published paper. There's a difference between a submitted paper, accepted paper, and then a published paper. So it should not be a submitted paper. It should be an accepted paper where you already finish your RPD and you start refining it after your corrections. RPD is basically an exam kind of a thing where the panel sits and they judge you on your research proposal. They ask you for corrections. They ask you to make some changes to your research or improvement to your research. So once that is done, then you can move on to just refine it and maybe make a paper out of it and just send it to a journal. And the sooner you do it, the better. By 12 month, it should be. So your 12 month is basically December. Let's say if you start from January, December is your 12th month. So again, if you don't show them for the next year, let's say 2026, 2025 starting, Jan starting. By Jan 2026, you don't have anything to show to them that you have an accepted paper. That means that they will still hold your salary again till 18 month. Like from 12 month to 18 month, they will hold your salary because now you don't have anything to show. You don't have an accepted paper to show them, to show CGS. CGS is basically Center for Graduate Studies. Like they are the one who are handling GAs and GRA. So they are I'm talking about both GA and GRA. So there's no difference there. This apply to both of them. But now I'm just talking about masters. I will talk about PhD later. But this is just for masters because I'm a master myself. I know more. And then finally, for 18th month, that's around maybe September or maybe August, September, something. 18th month, you have to have a published paper. So again, from January 2026 to August, September 2026, you will get your money. Let's say if you have passed this gateway, like if this is check, you can show them then the paper is accepted. Then sometimes it takes time for a journal to publish a paper. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it takes a whole year. So there's something about that as well. So let's say if you are clear with that gate, so till 12 month to 18 month you will get your amount, and then in September you have to show them that you have a published paper. Now the paper should be in journal where it show published. So then you can get the amount. If it is not published, then you won't be receiving amount till the end of 24 month. So you got the idea. These are the gateways you need to keep check of. RPD, try to cover it in first 3 months. 4th month, sometimes it can also extend to 4 months. In my case it did because I know nothing about my research. So it was extended to 4 months because I was learning things. Then I got my money back. Of course so again I'm just telling you my thing. January I joined. March it got delayed. I gave my RPD on April something, maybe 8 or something. Then I got the results in May. So that means because my RPD, even though I gave it, it was still not clear. So my 22nd or 23rd of April, I haven't received any amount. So there are 2,000 ringgits. I didn't get it. But the good thing was in May, because my status was clear by that time, I got my results and it was cleared. So on May 22nd, 23rd, the amount for the May month was 2,000 as well. But because I haven't got my previous month, so instead I got 4,000 right away. So you see, they were holding your salary. Okay, by the way, it was not 2,000 by then, it was actually 1,800 because there was no increment. So in total I got 3,600 right away. So you see that they will not just dispose your amount, they will just keep it with them. So it can delay, but again, you can still anticipate. So all you can do is you can save some amount. Yeah, so that's one of my suggestion, that when you come here, just don't waste money. Try to have some backup plan. Try to save enough money for yourself. Now let me just talk about PhD. Again, I'm not a professional on this matter because I have friends who are doing PhD, and maybe if I continue my PhD, I should know about it. So the only difference is that PhD student takes 6 months for their RPD because they are working on a more advanced concept. For masters, it's 3 to 6 months. For PhD, it's 6 to 9 months. They can take up to 9 months to finish their RPD, but again, if they don't cover in month 6, that means from 6 to 9, for the next 3 months, salary will be on hold. They will hold their salary. It is encouraged for the PhD students to finish their RPD in first 6 months. So let's say if someone started in Jan, by June, they should finish their RPD. So then that's how they can proceed. Then if, again, for us people, the journal acceptance paper was 12 months. For them, it's 18 month. Yeah. And then for the published article is 30th month. So again, I'm just talking about the same thing, but there's a more timeline there because PhD study for 3.5 years instead of just 2 years. So they have one and a half year extra. So they are making the timeline accordingly. And finally, after the 36 months, once they have a published paper, they can go for their RCS. Again, I will just talk about the RCS and all those things in upcoming future. Yeah, so I think this was about it. This was about the whole picture of GA and GRA. Again, I highly encourage you to just go and visit this website and try to read this because all this information has been taken. So I encourage you to just go through it. If you have some more questions, I'll be making more on this topic in the upcoming videos as well. In the next episode is going to be on how to apply. So I think that was enough for today. All I want you to do is to just go through the document, And if you have further questions, just try to leave them here in the comments of this video. So maybe I can address them in the next video. So hopefully I will make a video next week about how the application or how the apply process work. So thank you so much for your time.